So when we have something going on in our physical body, whether it's like pain or maybe prolapse, leaking urine, I mean, it could be anything, but I'm trying to stay kind of specific to pelvic floor health. We often think that we just need to fix our physical body, and we forget about the connection and the importance of our mind, right? And the role that that plays in the healing journey of our physical body as well, right? So, I always encourage and invite my patients or people that I'm talking to, if they have like a question or a DM about their issue, I always encourage like kind of looking at what you're feeding your nervous system, like how you're nourishing your nervous system, and that actually affects your mental, like your state of mind, basically your mental state of mind, and can either help you progress through your healing journey, or it can kind of hinder or stall or even like reverse your journey for you and move you backwards, right? Or kind of just keep you stuck. So for example, let's just say I'm dealing with pelvic pain, right? We'll say it's just like I have pain with sitting in the lower vaginal area, like the vulva, right? And I'm bombarding my nervous system. So I'm trying to work on healing this, but I'm bombarding my nervous system with information that's like toxic, right? Such as I'm reading all these blogs from people who are struggling and talking about how horrible their situation is and how nothing is working, and this is just going to be a forever life issue and chronic and nobody can help them. That's basically giving your mind evidence that that's true for you as well, right? And it might not even be that you're feeding your nervous system evidence or negativity that's even related to what you're working on healing from. It could be that you're bombarding your nervous system with stuff like information on the news and the media that has nothing to do with your healing journey, but it's still putting you in a state of unease and anxiety or fear about something else. But it all like intertwines with like where you're at, right? Because if something is aggravating you in one part of your life, it's gonna like bleed into the other aspects of your life. And we don't always think about that. We think like everything is separate, you know? But it's really not. It's all affecting your whole like physical, mental, emotional state of mind and body and everything. And then on the flip side, you know, you could be listening to a provider or scrolling through Instagram and looking for people who are very inspirational and motivational and making you feel like there's hope, there's possibility, pain is not permanent, you can get through this, like there's always hope, there's always choices, here's some things to do and try, or just like reading stories from other people who have had success in a similar situation, or even something like not similar, but maybe it's even more traumatic, and you're seeing that they can see the positivity and like the, they're like ahead of you, right? Like they had, or are even still dealing with an issue, whether it's pain or something traumatic physically, and they're beyond, because now they're able to like enjoy life despite an injury, or they have healed, and like look at them now. So like seeing that stuff gives now your brain evidence that there is possibility for you too, right? So you're feeding your nervous system nourishing things. It's kind of like, I like to think of the nervous system and what you're feeding it like a plant, right? So say you plant a rose bush, like you plant the seed for a rose bush, right? So your goal is to your goal is to have this beautiful rose bush grow. And so you're nourishing it. You're making sure it has plenty of like nitrogen in the soil, or whatever you need in the soil for it to grow. Listen, I don't grow roses. I don't know what it really needs. I guess I should have chose a different plant. But you make sure the soil is optimal for that plant, has all the nutrients it needs. You water it the right amount. You give it just the right amount of sunlight that it needs. Maybe you talk to it and you love it, and you're nourishing it. You're giving it what it needs to grow into that beautiful rose bush, right? Like that's you healing. But on the flip side, you can plant this seed. However, you put it in dirt that's full already of like other like little seeds that are gonna end up growing into weeds, or you just forget to water it. It's like in a spot that's not receiving the sunlight that it needs. And so what happens is that rose bush never is able to grow, or it starts, but then it's overcrowded by weeds, and it's not getting what it needs to grow, right? Like you're not giving yourself what you need to heal on all different levels, not just the physical. Although, right, each piece you kind of need to work on. Like you don't just water the plant. It needs good soil. You don't just give it sunlight. It needs water and soil. It needs all of the elements. So does your body to heal. And so now like these weeds are kind of like those toxins that you're feeding your nervous system, right? It's like, you want to heal and progress forward, but you can't because you're overcrowding your nervous system with weeds and toxins that are kind of blocking the progression of your mind, seeing that possibility and hope for yourself. And so you're kind of stuck in this state of like despair and unease and anxiety, and like not able to see that path for yourself. So, I just wanted to bring this topic up because when you're healing from something physical, there's always a mental element to it, and know that like feeding your nervous system things that are helping you move through your journey is what you want to be aware of, and trying to notice now that you have some awareness of this. Are you finding yourself going down the rabbit hole in Google and seeing all these other possibilities that you don't want for yourself? Not realizing that, oh my God, I'm giving myself evidence that that might be me, versus like, no, I'm not gonna, that's not a choice for me. This is my path. I am growing the rose bush. I am going to nourish my nervous system with positivity, and seek out things that can really help you grow. So part of that could be, what you're watching on the news, if you watch the news, what you're reading, who you surround yourself with, whether that's in-person friends and support groups, or even online, like when you're scrolling through social media. Is your feed full of like inspiration, motivation, and things that help you see hope and possibility, or is it full of like things that kind of make you feel like, ugh, you know, think about the feeling that you get when you're on social. Think about the feeling you get when you're reading something or seeing something in the news, the feeling that you get when you are around your friends or talking about like your issue that you're working on healing from. Yeah, so I hope that this was helpful. And if you have any questions, we can dive a little bit more into some of the science behind this and how your brain is actually like filtering in and filtering out like information. And so like know that even though you might be seeing a lot of information that isn't helping you move forward and grow, part of it could be because that's what your mind is filtering in, and it's filtering out the other stuff. But the other stuff is still there. But now that you're aware, you can start seeking that out. And again, we can talk about the science behind it. It's pretty cool. All right.